Ah, the 1980s, an era when neon was everywhere, hair defied gravity, and sitcoms ruled the primetime airwaves. TV networks were so hungry for hits, they'd spin off just about anything. Side characters, one-joke wonders, or even that neighbor who popped up for a single punchline. Sometimes magic struck gold, hello, the facts of life. But more often, lightning fizzled. For every classic, there's a list of flops that crashed before the audience could even remember their theme song. Tonight, we're dusting off the TV graveyard and revisiting the worst 1980s sitcom spin-offs that sank instantly. Shows so awkward, so misguided, even die-hard fans changed the channel. Ready for a cringe-fueled nostalgia trip? Let's dive in. Joanie loves Chachi, 1982. If you ever wondered how to ruin two beloved Happy Days characters, look no further than Joanie Loves Chachi. ABC thought they had a surefire hit by sending Joni Cunningham and Chachi Arcola to Chicago to chase musical dreams and young love. But without the rest of the Happy Days gang, the magic fizzled fast. The chemistry between Aaron Moran and Scott Baio suddenly felt flat. The jokes were forced, and the music numbers, well, let's just say Broadway wasn't calling. The spin-off limped through 2 brief seasons, but even the power of nostalgia couldn't save it. Critics panned it, and even Happy Days loyalists admitted some stories are better left in Milwaukee. Aftermash 1983 to 1985. Following up Mayus H., one of the most acclaimed sitcoms of all time, was a bold, possibly delusional move. Aftermash imagined Colonel Potter, Klinger, and Father Mulcahy adapting to life in a stateside veterans hospital after the war. What did it forget? The sharp, biting humor and chemistry that made the original a legend. Instead, viewers got heavy-handed drama, recycled gags, and storylines that just couldn't capture the old magic. Ratings tanked after initial curiosity wore off. The show's most lasting legacy? A reminder that lightning rarely strikes twice, and that even beloved characters sometimes deserve a peaceful retirement. The Ropers, 1979 to 1980. Technically, the Ropers launched in the final days of the 70s, but its demise happened in the heart of 1980, so it earns its spot here. Spun from Three's Company, this sitcom followed Stanley and Helen Roper as they moved to a posh suburb, trading slapstick apartment shenanigans for awkward suburbia. But without Jack, Janet, and Chrissy, the laughs were few and far between. The fish-out-of-water premise wore thin, and the spark that made the Ropers hilarious as landlords was lost in translation. Ratings quickly plummeted, and the show was axed after just 2 seasons. A spin-off forgotten almost as soon as it aired. Flo, 1980 to 1981. Flo, a spin-off from the long-running Alice, took Polly Holliday's sassy gum-popping waitress and plopped her back in Texas to run her own roadhouse. Audiences loved her "Kiss My Grits" catchphrase at Mel's Diner. But as the star, Flo lost her bite. The show tried to recapture lightning by filling the diner with a new cast of quirky regulars, but the formula never clicked. Storylines veered between zany and bland, and viewers quickly lost interest. Despite a promising start, Flo was canceled after 2 seasons, with critics and fans agreeing that some characters shine best in small, spicy doses. Checking In, 1981. Imagine taking Florence, the beloved housekeeper from the Jeffersons, and giving her a hotel to run. Checking In sounded promising, but the reality was a disaster. Marla Gibbs is a comedy treasure, but even she couldn't save this clunky one-note show. The hotel setting never felt real, the supporting cast never gelled, and the jokes were painfully flat. After just 4 episodes, CBS mercifully pulled the plug, making Checking In one of the fastest spin-off failures in sitcom history. Florence promptly returned to The Jeffersons, and most viewers pretended this side quest never happened at all. Gloria, 1982 to 1983. Gloria tried to ride the coattails of All in the Family by spinning off Archie Bunker's daughter into her own adventure. Now, a single mom and aspiring veterinarian's assistant, Gloria moved to upstate New York, leaving behind the biting wit and topical edge that made the original legendary. Sally Struthers did her best, but the writing was tepid, and the new cast couldn't fill the Bunker family's shoes. The show limped through one awkward season before CBS canceled it, leaving fans wishing Gloria had stayed in Queens with her dad, or at least waited for a better script. The Tortellis, 1987. From the world of Cheers, the Tortellis spun off the lovable but sleazy Nick Tortelli and his dysfunctional clan to Las Vegas. The result was less Cheers, more cringeworthy sitcom purgatory. Without Sam, Diane, or Norm, the Tortellis' over-the-top antics just grated. Jokes about gambling and marriage woes fell flat, and the heart that made Cheers soar was nowhere to be found. The series staggered through 13 painful episodes before being quietly canceled. Today, the Tortellis is a trivia question few can answer, a cautionary tale for anyone tempted to build a show around the comic relief. Mama's Family, original NBC run, 1983 to 1984. While Mama's Family eventually found a second life in syndication, its original NBC run was a textbook case of a spin-off missing the mark. Born from the family sketches on The Carol Burnett Show, the sitcom starred Vicki Lawrence as the mouthy matriarch Thelma Harper. But early episodes were broad, mean-spirited, and wildly inconsistent in tone. Ratings were poor, and critics panned the show's abrasive humor. NBC canceled it after 2 short seasons, only for the show to be revived years later, with a softer tone and more successful syndication run. Its instant flop status, though, is still legendary. The Bradies, 1990. Okay, technically, the Bradies snuck in at the dawn of the 90s, but it's too infamous to ignore. Attempting to turn the lighthearted Brady Bunch universe into a grown-up drama comedy, the Bradies dropped the laughs for heavy-handed plots about addiction, midlife crisis, and tragedy. It was a jarring tonal shift no one asked for. Fans wanted nostalgia. They got soap opera. The show lasted just 6 episodes before getting the axe, making it one of the quickest and most awkward spin-off deaths. Even the most devoted Brady fans still cringe at this attempt to grow up too fast. Sanford, 1980 to 1981. After the iconic Sanford and Son ended, Red Fox tried to recapture the magic with Sanford, this time without Lamont. Fred Sanford now ran a junkyard with a new young partner and a parade of side characters that never clicked. The biting chemistry and social commentary of the original show was gone, replaced by recycled jokes and tired slapsticks. Audiences noticed and tuned out fast. The series lasted just 2 seasons before getting junked for good. A harsh lesson that some sitcom magic can't survive, the loss of its most important ingredients. Archie Bunker's Place, 1979 to 1983. Archie Bunker's Place picked up where All in the Family left off, hoping that Carol O'Connor's grumpy bark could carry a show all on its own. Without Edith's sweetness and the original family's wild chemistry, Archie felt strangely adrift, presiding over his Queen's bar with a new supporting cast that couldn't quite fill the void. The tone became more somber, the topics less biting, and even Archie himself seemed tired of the old act. While the show limped along for a few seasons, the spark was missing and viewers drifted away. Most fans agree. All in the Family deserved a better send-off than this awkward, drawn-out epilogue that struggled to find a reason to keep tuning in. Private Benjamin, 1981 to 1983. Inspired by the hit Goldie Hawn film, the sitcom Private Benjamin followed the clueless Judy Benjamin as she navigated army life. Lorna Patterson did her best in the title role, but without Hawn's star power, the show quickly lost its charm. The laugh lines felt forced, the supporting characters were watered down, and the fish-out-of-water humor became repetitive. Instead of breaking new ground, Private Benjamin ended up marching in place, failing to stand out in a crowded landscape of sitcoms. After 2 seasons, the show faded quietly, remembered mostly as proof that not every hit movie needs a small-screen sequel. Hello, Larry, 1979 to 1980. A show so notoriously bad, it's become sitcom punchline royalty. Hello, Larry starred McLean Stevenson as a radio talk show host and single dad, transplanted from the Different Strokes universe. But the show never figured out its tone. One week was heartwarming family hijinks. The next was awkward workplace gags. The cast chemistry was off, and the writing was frequently cringeworthy. NBC tried everything, including crossover episodes with Different Strokes, but nothing worked. Despite a major marketing push, Hello, Larry lasted just 2 short seasons and is now remembered as one of TV's most infamous misfires. The Lucy Arnaz Show, 1985. You'd think the daughter of Lucille Ball could carry a sitcom, but The Lucy Arnaz Show just didn't have the spark. Spun off from her guest spot on The Lucille Ball Special, Lucy starred as a psychologist juggling her patients' zany lives and her own. The result was tepid jokes, muddled storylines, and a desperate attempt to recapture Lucy's legacy without the heart or chaos that made her mother a legend. Audiences were confused, critics unimpressed, and the show faded after a single, forgettable season. Sometimes star power and a famous last name just aren't enough to save a limp sitcom. Mr. Smith, 1983. A chimpanzee with an IQ of 256 working as a political advisor in Washington, D.C. That's the actual premise of Mr. Smith. Despite an ambitious marketing blitz, viewers were less charmed and more bewildered by this offbeat experiment. The gags never landed, the supporting cast seemed embarrassed, and the monkey business wore thin almost immediately. Even a catchy theme song couldn't distract from the sheer absurdity of the setup. The show was quickly canceled, living on only as a cautionary tale about how desperate the 80s networks became for the next sitcom sensation. Not every idea is a Mr. Ed. Jennifer Slept Here, 1983 to 1984. NBC thought they had a sure thing with Jennifer Slept Here, a sitcom about a teenage boy haunted by the ghost of a glamorous Hollywood actress in his family's new house. The show tried to blend heartfelt family moments with supernatural slapstick, but the jokes rarely landed, and the premise felt stretched thinner each week. Ann Gillian did her best as the friendly ghost, but the concept just never caught on. Viewers tuned out, and critics groaned. After just one season, Jennifer and her ghostly gags faded into TV limbo, a perfect example of how not every high concept is destined for sitcom greatness. We Got It Made, 1983 to 1984. We Got It Made banked on a classic 80s fantasy. Two bachelors hire a beautiful young housekeeper, and hijinks ensue. The problem? Audiences quickly found the show dated, sexist, and painfully unfunny. None of the characters were likable or memorable, and even a mid-season relaunch couldn't save it. The show was canceled after its first season, but was somehow revived for syndication in 1987, only to flop again. We Got It Made is a reminder that easy premises can fall flat fast when they're built on stale stereotypes and paper-thin punchlines. Out of the Blue, 1979 to 1980. This Happy Days spin-off and occasional Mork and Mindy crossover followed Random, a bumbling angel sent to help a family on Earth. Despite some magical moments, the show struggled to find its tone, part family comedy, part supernatural sitcom, but not enough of either. The cast gave it their all, but the writing never gelled, and audiences soon lost interest. Out of the Blue quickly faded after just a handful of episodes, and Random's adventures were cut short. It's a forgotten footnote in sitcom history, and a reminder that not every show needs a celestial twist. She's the Sheriff, 1987 to 1989. Suzanne Summers, hot off her Three's Company fame, tried to anchor this sitcom as a widowed mom who becomes sheriff of a Nevada town. Despite her charm, She's the Sheriff felt dated, full of tired gags, and never lived up to its premise. The cast struggled with lackluster scripts, and the show's mix of slapstick and sentiment didn't connect with viewers. While it ran for 2 seasons in syndication, She's the Sheriff never caught on and faded into the background of 80s TV. It's often remembered only for its awkward title and as a missed opportunity for a beloved TV star. What a Country, 1986 to 1987. Based on the British series Mind Your Language, this sitcom centered around a group of immigrants learning English in a night class, starring stand-up comic Yakov Smirnoff. What could have been a clever, timely comedy instead became a mess of dated stereotypes, predictable culture clash jokes, and thin characterizations. The show struggled to find its voice in a changing cultural landscape, and viewers quickly tuned out. After 1 season, What a Country was canceled, becoming a relic of the era's misguided attempts to capitalize on diversity without actually offering fresh or respectful storytelling. The new leave, It's a Beaver, 1984 to 1989. After decades off the air, the Cleaver family returned, older but not necessarily wiser. In The New Leave It to Beaver, originally titled Still the Beaver, this revival tried to update the iconic sitcom for the 80s, but lightning refused to strike twice. The show followed grown-up Beaver, Wally, and their own families navigating new suburban woes. Unfortunately, the charm of the original didn't translate. What was once wholesome and sweet now felt stiff and awkward. The laughs were gentle at best, the stories overly familiar, and nostalgia alone couldn't keep audiences tuned in. The series faded out quietly, a reminder that not all classics need a second act. The Facts of Life Down Under, 1987. A special spin-off event more than a full series, The Facts of Life Down Under sent the girls on a trip to Australia in hopes of jump-starting fresh adventures. Instead, it played like an overlong vacation episode with recycled jokes and fish-out-of-water gags that failed to connect. NBC hoped to capture new magic, but even loyal fans felt the effort was forced and unnecessary. This international detour is mostly remembered for its awkward attempts to recapture the spark of the original Facts of Life, and for proving you can't always revive a franchise just by changing scenery. The Brady Brides, 1981. Trying to bottle the nostalgia of the Brady Bunch, NBC brought back Marcia and Jan for the Brady Brides. The idea? Both sisters get married and, of course, move in together with their new husbands. The show hoped to blend newlywed sitcom tropes with that old Brady charm, but the results were awkward at best. Gone were the gentle life lessons and family warmth. In their place were mismatched in-laws, forced gags, and storylines that felt more like recycled leftovers than a fresh start. Despite a promising TV movie pilot, The Brady Brides only lasted a single season. It's mostly remembered as a missed opportunity and a gentle warning not to overstay your sitcom welcome. The Harlem Globetrotters Popcorn Machine, 1980 to 1981. Yes, this actually happened. Hoping to capitalize on the Globetrotters' crossover appeal, CBS gave them a variety sitcom mixing comedy sketches, musical numbers, and basketball hijinks. Unfortunately, what worked in animated form never quite clicked as a live-action comedy. The show's format was a confusing blend of genres, and the jokes rarely hit the mark. While the Globetrotters were endlessly charming, even their energy couldn't save a show with no clear direction. Popcorn Machine ran out of steam quickly, and is now mostly a punchline for how wild 80s TV experiments could get. Mrs. Columbo, 1979 to 1980. Hoping to capitalize on the iconic detective series Columbo, NBC launched Mrs. Columbo, starring Kate Mulgrew as the famously unseen wife. But instead of the mystery and subtle humor fans loved, viewers got bland stories and a character that never quite fit the original show's universe. Even changing the title to Kate Loves a Mystery didn't help. Fans were confused, ratings were dismal, and critics panned the premise from day one. The show lasted only a handful of episodes before vanishing, mostly remembered as a classic case of a spin-off that nobody wanted or needed. There you have it, the graveyard of 1980s sitcom spin-offs that tried to capture lightning, but instead fizzled out faster than a forgotten catchphrase. Some shows crashed after just one season. Others barely made it to commercial break. But together, they remind us of an era when TV was fearless, experimental, and occasionally gloriously bad. Did we miss a legendary flop? Drop your favorite disaster in the comments, subscribe for more deep dives into TV history, and never be afraid to change the channel when a spin-off goes south.